Hi, welcome back to part 2 of the collage series. And so now the first part was making collage paper. So I have a couple different kinds I'm going to show today. This is just some painting on some heavy mixed media paper. And then I have the Deli paper pieces that I did in part 1. Some of the stripes, some of the circles, right? Okay, so I've got a couple of ideas. I want to start with this regular paper. I don't think I'm going to use it on this one. I've got a couple of just waste boards when I've got extra paint, and I've just been throwing them on here. So that's what these two are, and they're perfect. They're in the perfect position to have something added, to add some interest. So I'm just going to cut out some circle-like shapes. I'm going to try to keep them some different sizes and a little bit different shapes. Okay, I was just checking to see if any of those negative shapes were more interesting or just as interesting. Nothing really grabbed me for this piece here. So now I was thinking I might want to do like a real pattern, like really place these in an orderly fashion. I thought that might be interesting, working with that. See where it's almost like a stripe. And I think I'm going to try that just as sort of a challenge. Just a challenge. I don't love anything about this piece. So this one's really easy for me to work on, because I don't care at all. All right, so I have my just regular economy acrylic polymer gel medium. So gel medium is what you're looking for, and this is really just gluing stuff down. So the finish, you know, if it's a matte finish or a satin finish or a high gloss, none of that matters to me. This is all going to be covered up. So I'm not concerned about that. What I am concerned about at this point is using a lot of this stuff, like way more than what I think I should be using. And the reason for that is because we really want these edges down here really solid so they don't lift up. And because I'm using a lot and they're all sort of close together, I'm also going to be gluing them all down at the same time instead of one piece and then fixing that down. And I'm happy to let that gel medium squish out there and really ensure I've got good solid contact, but we're not done. That's not the final. So I know it's looking pretty messy. And the gel medium is going to dry completely clear. So make sure those edges are down. So you don't have to worry about thinning out, you know, making sure everything's all perfect and lovely yet. Everything right now is just messy And I'm pushing down really hard here to make sure I'm getting these pieces of paper very well affixed to the surface. And this is pretty heavy stock paper, so the parchment paper is most likely not going to lift it up, so you don't have to be too careful. When you start moving in with the deli papers, that's when you do have to be careful with the parchment paper. If there's a lot of the gel medium, it can tend to lift up. So you want to be just careful when you're picking up that deli paper. So instead of just lifting it up and just pulling stuff out, if you pull it back more like that, then there's less tension to be able to lift that piece of paper up. But it's easily counteracted as long as you're expecting it. It's easily dealt with a light touch and a brush. And so now I'm just going over this with some acrylic gel just to make sure this is completely nailed down. And like I said, this dries clear, so I want a smooth surface, but I'm not worrying about, trying to get a mirror glaze or anything like that. So that is done for now. It's just going to dry. It probably takes about, 30 minutes or so to dry. And we're going to move on to this wonder, this artistic genius piece here. And like I said, this one is great because, and this one is great also because I don't care anything about it. And I really feel like maybe just really just coming in with all of the circles, maybe, or maybe some stripes of the circles, or maybe just circles here, like a mysterious third of circles. I don't know. What do you think? Or would it be better here? First of all, I'm going to get rid of this scalloped edge so I don't have to worry about trying to cover it. And that deli paper tears really well this way, and it really resists tearing along the long axis. Something about the way the fibers are in this paper. So I think I'm just going to cut it, make it a lot simpler rather than trying to tear. So you can see here, if I tear this, yeah, see, no problem at all. It's a beautiful tear. I almost don't even need a straight edge to tear it. And I am going to save that piece. I might even end up using it today. Who knows? Who knows? And I know I don't want to go half, but do I want to maybe go maybe I want to go 3/4. All right. So now I know what I'm doing. I'm going to knock this out pretty quick. Oh yeah, that's the bad edge. So this is what's cool about collage, I think, is that you can make some really big, bold choices pretty quickly and really change what's happening very fast. Like, from this to that is like, boom, all of a sudden, I'm I'm interested in this piece again. Or not again, for the first time I'm interested in this piece. So that's cool. And that's what I really like about collage. It allows you to kind of make these big decisions, big changes really quickly. And there's something really energetic about that immediacy of shifting a piece rather than looking at this thing that's, for me, is pretty dead. It's uninspiring. There's so many things I don't like about it. And this would take some real thought and work to work with what I've got, but really to change it at the same time. And I think it's one of the reasons why I was never working on it, because I just didn't want to spend that much time on it, because I just didn't like it. And the reason why you use the parchment paper over that is so you're not getting the gel medium all over your brayer. Mine is covered in paint. It usually is, but it is a hassle to clean it up. But plus also when you're picking up the gel medium, the next time you put a piece down and then you use your brayer, this has become extremely tacky and it's going to lift everything up and get it all folded and messed up. All right, so now I'm just going to go over this. I don't know if that's enough, but it's awfully close to being enough. When we come back to this, it'll be really interesting to see how this sort of melts or doesn't melt into this piece. But already, wow, I like this piece so much better, mostly because everything I didn't like about it, or much of what I didn't like about it, is covered up. It's not funny. And you could also fold these edges back to, this is just a little panel, so if this were a cradled panel, then I would be more concerned about cleaning up those edges. I wouldn't wrap the paper around the edge, but since this is a flat panel, and the way it's going to be finished, that won't ever be seen. And that way we are all cleaned up already on our edges, just like that. Whoops, lifted that corner up. So now whatever is hanging off after it's dry, I'll be able to sand it off and it won't disturb the rest of that collage piece. So that will be exciting to see. This is a piece that I kind of stopped working on, but you see here, this is the collage piece that I glued in and then painted over. And if you were just looking at this piece, you would not even notice that this is a collage piece. And that's what I really like about working on the deli paper and how I can make collage work for my work rather than having, you know, something cut out from a piece of manufactured pattern paper or a picture or something like that and put that in, because that's just not how I work. It's not how I think about my work. So that's where my stumbling block was with collage. But now that I found this way where I can make my own papers on deli paper and how they just integrate so easily into the surface of a painting, this is why I got excited about collage and wanted to experiment and work with it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to this one. This one actually has a lot more going on in it, obviously. And so I'm going to add to the busyness with some collage pieces. I kind of like that one right down there. I'm just going to take off that little scalloped edge because it drives me nuts. And right there, isn't that funny? I think that works. Right there on the bottom. All right, and then I'm going to try some of this bubble. Don't like it. Maybe I shouldn't if I don't like it. I'm going to skip the bubble. Maybe we'll make this a free giveaway. If you want some bubble collage paper, drop me a comment here the same week that I post this, and I'll mail it to you. Okay. I do like that design, but I don't think that's right for this piece. So we're either going to be in circles. I like that, like just a big mass of circles. I wonder. Okay, let's start here. So as I mentioned before in part one, I'm pretty deliberate about the colors that I choose to make these papers so that they can fall into these paintings pretty easily. Yeah. And by fall into, I mean just integrate easily, not just because they're on deli paper, but because the colors harmonize with what's already existing on the board. And I certainly can appreciate that in some instances, you may want a paper, a collage bit that doesn't fit in at all, right? That really stands out. Totally respect that. Think that's super cool. Just not what I'm doing right now. And the other reason why I like it is that means I don't have to fight this thing to try to make it fit into the painting, right? Because my point isn't to try to make a big statement with my collage. It's really just adding to the piece. It's not the focus of the piece. And at this point in my painting career journey path, I'm not interested in really putting in something that doesn't fit in and then trying to make it work. Oops, wrong tool. Of course, that would have worked, but I do like the brayer better. So in part one, I discuss how I use colors. I mix colors using the colors that I use to paint. And then just a little side note, I notice that when I talk about colors, I say colors really weirdly. I've never heard it before. And I don't know if I do it just when the camera's on and I'm really talking very specifically about paint and I'm kind of unconsciously emphasizing the word colors. But I say it really, it's just been a weird thing. Editing your own videos, it's a strange experience. You do get quite sick of hearing yourself yammer on and stumble around for words. So I like it. I feel like this is probably still really too busy, but that's really going to have to be fixed with paint, I think. Yeah, I don't really see that fitting, but this is a good point here. You see this purple? Like, it just screams out. I hope it does on the camera. It certainly does to me. Like this, one of these things does not belong here song, right? And that's that purple. And that's what I mean about harmony. This one comes a little bit closer to working just because this is a really common color that I use. There may be touches of this color in here. I'm just seeing if there's something I can do at this point on camera with collage to start making all of this painting work a bit more. I wonder if that might be it. Well, let's try it, right? Like I said, this is just a panel. I don't care about it at all. It's really early on in the stage of painting. So I am very much in the experiment and explore phase of this. And experimenting and exploring has been something that I've really had to fight for, to allow myself to do, to give myself the time and the space to do that and to make something that's uncomfortable or ugly or awkward or I don't understand it, don't know if it looks good. I've really had to fight to get to that place where I can just try it out. And allow it some time to breathe. I don't have to decide right now if it's the most amazing thing I've ever created or not, right? So I encourage you to spend some time just messing around. If that's painting over old paintings that no longer speak to who you are as an artist and were never really good in the first place, those might be great starting points for you to start taking some risks and just trying out some new ideas and new things with no harm, no foul if it works out or not. You know, the stakes are fairly low. I know a lot of people, they approach a new canvas or a new board with a lot of anxiety and expectation. You know, that first mark has to be genius and every subsequent mark has to be genius. Otherwise, you're failing somehow. And that's just not reality. Isn't that so interesting how these two collage pieces are almost unidentifiable? And then this piece really stands out. I mean, obviously it would because of the type of paper it's on. That's not really the interesting part. The interesting part is how this is already so integrated into that piece. But I'm kind of digging this little painting about circles. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay, so we're gonna let these things dry, and I think I'll come back for part 3, and I'll be painting on these and really further integrating them into the surface of these little paintings and see where we go. Maybe we wind up with some actual art. Wouldn't that be nice? If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm Pamela Robertson. I'm a coach to other abstract artists, and I love getting to talk about painting and the mindset around painting and improving your practice with other abstract artists. And I've been really fortunate to see some amazing growth in the really incredible people that I've been able to work with. If you're interested in working with a coach around your abstract art, check me out at Strong Artist Life. That's my website. I'll put the link below in the description. On the same topic, I also offer a 30-minute free masterclass called The 3 Biggest Obstacles Preventing You from Becoming the Successful Abstract Artist You Know You Are Meant to Be. And I'll put the link to that below too. I hope to see you again here soon. Have a great day.